Okay, we're back. Just taking a quick recap of the brackets before we get into this next game. We're already getting the lobby, so just give us 1 sec here, guys. Because, unfortunately, as we mentioned, Zanster has been eliminated from the tournament. He did lose the losers match. But now we're going to the upper bracket with the winners match, Impact versus Denver. In fact, some people are already pulling the trigger on that gun, so we're going to hop in the game. That's the wrong button. That's our faces. But my face is goddamn beautiful, so what's up? Here we go. That's the right scene. Also, most of the subs gifted today have been picked from the sub gift room. By the way, thank you for the random sub to Zombie Grub's channel, whoever did that. But yeah, so if you guys want to get on the sub gift hype train, so some people have been picking names, picking subs. Mr. Boris Makarov has been getting all over this too. Get in that sub gift room and leave a message. That's the best way we're gonna find you. But guys, we got 6,000 something people tuning in today, and I know not all of you are gonna care about StarCraft. You've just been swindled into coming here from the front page. But if you are enjoying what you're seeing, please hit the follow button. It's free, it's not gonna cost you a thing, and we cover so much StarCraft content on the channel, daily tournaments. Be sure to follow so you don't miss out. That being said, before we do the intros, big shoutouts to Chess Doctors. Thank you for that resub, as well as Droid Trooper. Besides, you can't hit anything except for that sub button. Thank you for the 3 months. All right, getting into game though. Top right side, we've got the blue Zerg from Korea. It's Impact.
And the red Zerg from France. It's Denver.
Who has gone and fixed his name, and he spent the last best of 5 doing up his hotkeys. So he should be ready to play. This is still in the America server. This is still cross server. Oh, this is interesting spawning pool placement, actually. But Impact has already murdered 1 foreign Zerg. We'll see if he can do 2 in Denver. Oh God, are you being greedy?
Well then, it's gonna work out for him. That's what I can tell.
I just feel there's almost nobody who ever gets away with this in ZvZ anymore. But I can actually see on this map why you would do this. One hand, you almost like could flip a coin and guess whether someone takes a gold base or not. Okay. But secondly, the map is like long and windy, and it's not easy through these skinny chokes to take fights. Like, I can... Oh, this is such a risky move out of Denver, but if Impact didn't scout it, he's actually going to get away with this.
He is. That's the best part. Well, actually, Impact's Overlord... No, actually, it stays right there. Just kidding. So Impact's Overlord will eventually kind of, like, move forward and see that their base is being taken, because, you know, once Denver realizes what's up, and he kind of already has, then, of course, he's going to, you know... Wait, where was I going with that? I actually lost my train of thought. Whoa. When Denver sees the lack of natural base, assumes that it's a gold, Impact's going to assume, like, he takes a third base in response. That's where I was going with that.
Oh no, to stop just shy of the creep.
Yeah, but he'll check it eventually. That was my point.
Are you okay, by the way? Do you need a...
No. No, I'm not okay.
It's not even that early in the morning, man. Like, I don't actually have an excuse for you. At least when we cast like at 4 a.m., you're like, well, you know what? It's like 4 a.m. in the morning. Oh, he scouted for the gold. He didn't actually see this. He might see the creep thread now and realize what's up. Yeah, he just did with the Overlord.
Yeah.
Because he was sending links straight down to the gold. Oh, I can't believe Denver got away with this. Scot-free, no less.
Well, I did like your point about just assuming Impact would take the gold base. I'm sure a lot of Zergers taking the gold base. It's just too tempting. So, taking a gold base, then you're probably not building a ton of lings or enough lings early on to really punish this. So, I like what Denver did. Now, of course, he'll be able to eventually get his own lings or roaches or whatever, tear down the rocks perhaps, and maybe punish the gold base a little bit. This ling is now going to go down there and take a peek.
Scouting that's the layer will be nice too, though, because there's a lot of potential mind games just with base placements on this map, and one of the big ones is the fact that you won't necessarily scout that layer if you assume everything's happening in the main. Also, now I see why he did that spawning pool where he did. Very weird wall off.
But he could have just done it with a...
Well,
so
the beauty of this was... Okay, well, first off, he had to start it there because there was no creeps right initially, right? But secondly, I mean, I agree, you're not wrong, but the beauty of this that I really like for the wall that I want to just go over is the fact that this covers 2 bases. This actually helps cover the main, which means he covers the natural. Sure, rocks can eventually be broken down, don't get me wrong, but this is clever. I like this a lot, actually, just the building placement out of Impact.
I don't know how I feel about it. I like anything that's new, so I guess I like it, but is it really worth it? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it against roaches might not have that big of an impact, but definitely against like early lings, and if there'd been a bit of a rush, that could have been. Thank you, Dude in a Basement 1 for the Prime sub. That's a great name. I like it. But they've both gone into roach play. They've both gone for +1 speed, layer timings. Granted, Impacts is all a little bit faster, but with the length of the map, I don't know that he's going to find like an actual timing he can take advantage of here.
They both skip speed, they both went into roaches, and they both have this like very strong economy. Denver more drones, but Impact only slightly behind and with a gold base. Really evening things out. Impact, I like that he goes for the +1 carapace. He has the double evolution chamber, so I think using it in this type of game where it's a bit no rush 10 was a very good move. Denver now realizing the opportunity, but is going to be later to his +1 carapace. Maybe one of them will go straight up to an infestation pit as well.
This is really crazy, actually. I'm just looking at the income graph. Sorry. Impact had a lead initially from the gold base. That makes a lot of sense. But his lead gets like heavily outshined by the properly saturated 3 bases of Denver. Now, when it comes to economy, and especially in ZvZs, you don't really see the benefits. Oh, that was so clever. You don't see the benefits of this till minutes later, till like 5 minutes down the line, where you see the extra 12 roaches really take effect and shape. But yo, he's got another Overseer locked and loaded. He's probably going to go back in there and install the Evo chamber again and try and just really offset Denver's +2 to the point where Impact might actually now, through Overseer harassment, create a situation where he can go in with +2 and Denver will only be on +1. Oh my god, that's so sick.
2-1 versus 1. It's that would be a very large upgrade lead. Denver needs to be afraid here. He's going to be in trouble. He's a spine crawler, defender's advantage, might still work out while he waits for his upgrades, which is just never going to happen. This
is actually so cool. I from the base setup here to the Overseer use, I'm really impressed with what Impact's doing. This to me says he really has an understanding of the matchup, but also he's pulling out all the stops. Like, he's not risking losing to some foreign swine.
Funny way to put it. But, thinking about who I would have predicted to get out of this group, definitely the Koreans are, like, first and foremost on my mind. Zanster had a good day. I would have given him some credit, too. But Impact, when he plays solid, he plays really solid. And if today's a good day, then I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up 3-0ing Denver as well.
One point you tend to bring up more than me, but I'll echo here is, Impact VSL champion for good reason. And what I liked about that was when the VSL season happened, Impact didn't win off some patch. Like, it was good skill, good mechanics, beating good players, but yeah, kind of seeing that shine through here where he's just playing on point really late into the night too. Reminder, it's very late for Korea, terribly late for Korea.
It is. It's 3 going on 3 a.m. now. So he has the upgrade lead. It didn't end up being a full 2-1 over 1, and he's closed, like, Denver's closing the gap on the +2 weapons as well. Just never quite bold enough to really rush all of his units into Denver, who is obviously prepared, paying attention to his army, migrating as well. And with that, Denver has made up for what could have been a huge, huge lead. I mean, that means they both come out kind of equal here. Denver going to a 4th base. Impact should be putting down his own soon, too.
I'm just seeing, like, Corsair Bile. Like, Corsair Biles in so many of these fight engagements. Like, right here, as you can see, it's a choked off situation for these roaches. Oh, I didn't realize he had snuck out burrow. That's cool. But Corsair Biles could really make all the difference in the world, depending on how this engagement goes, size-wise, for both players. But that was clever. He realized the Overlord was some follow, so he had to wait till the last second. That was smart out of Denver, actually. I really like that. Well, while we wait for the engagement to finally happen, they're still getting tech behind this. Tunneling Claws, Hydras, you name it.
They're not infestors. Spire for Impact. Interesting. He's always had, or almost always had, a supply lead. He had that upgrade lead. If he wasn't going to attack 2 minutes ago, then I guess Impact's just not going to attack. Not unless he finds Denver really out of position, which now he's kind of trying to accomplish. A couple run-bys from him, run-bys from Denver.
Oh! I like the Spine Core's not going to burn time, but the Evo Chamber block, that's cool. I like that. Also got some more sub-hype. We'll get you in a second here. I heard that wonderful sound playing, but roaches for tunneling. trying to sneak around, get to those mineral lines. Roaches to the top side, totally denied. A pretty big attack looking to try and snipe off this base. He could probably hit and run, but if he does, that risks dedicating a lot of his roaches to it. So a kind of tough decision to make here for Impact. While this goes on, the roaches in the main did unburrow and start killing some things. Looks like Denver will hold on. Good concave for him. Fighting around the hatchery is no fun, though. Oh my...
What?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize who that new sub was. It's Stacy Roy! My good friend Stacy Roy. Good morning, Stacy. I hope you're doing well.
Hello. Wow, impeccable for Banelings. Of course, seeing a couple of Hydras, I suppose, wanting to get to the heart of the army, but actually getting a Baneling nest and then waiting for centrifugal hooks and then actually getting that many Banelings and the connections on them, too. That's a long-term plan right there. Such a long-term plan that I'm a little worried Denver could even get infestors before the Banelings really show themselves.
Corrosive Bile's looking for those hits. Some of them are hitting really good in the backside. 4 Ravagers just took the same Corrosive Bile. Gonna get this one for a wha-bam! But this is actually still a Roach fight, not necessarily a Ravage fight. A couple Hydras now getting in the mix. Sustained damage is gonna be very important here, but that burst from those Corrosive Biles, that sent Denver packing.
Yeah. Still with that army supply lead, but about to lose out in the upgrades finally. Impact also losing a lot of drones. Is really going to be forced to go all in. He's using up his bank to do just that. They are both on like 2,000, 1,000. Now Impact way lower, but 30 army supply above.
Well, it's crazy to look at. I'm showing the income or the army graph, excuse me. For the last like 5 minutes, Denver's always been behind in army supply, but that's not the case for income. He's been rocketing it with these drone kills. He's skyrocketing out of control here, almost pushing Impact off the graph entirely. Well,
yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Doubling and then some, the drone count. But that will directly result in this lesser army supply. They're both going to be maxed, and Impact guarantees has a higher army.
That's the problem for this, though. Like, Impact, if he wins, he's going to do it by a landslide and through a snowball. But if he bleeds out, if Denver recognizes that all he has to do is trade because of his economic lead, then he'll be better off for it. But he's dedicating to a fight. I don't know if this is the right move.
I mean, time is on his side as, again, more roaches come in here. More roaches that are not part of the army supply. When Impact decides to move in, and he should, he will win the fight. It just, he needs to really win the fight to actually win this game.
None of Denver's Corrosive Biles are landing. He's in full retreat. A lot of this army's almost dead. He can't even rebuild it. He's maxed out. This is bad. Even though he's got the bank, he's got the money, all these units will be coming out 3 or 4 at a time, and that's not going to cut it. That's not going to work versus this. So drones are going to get pulled into the action, trying to buy some buffer. More Corsair Biles landing on the backside. Some of Denver's are finally connecting, but his roaches on the other side of the map are like minor bits of harass. It's not a base trade. This is Impact looking to just shove it into Denver's base. Ace Lude.
A lot of those weaker units are what remains here. The Ravagers and the Hydras have gone very, very quickly, and there's just too big of an army for Impact. Even as his bases fall, he wins the army fight.
Yeah, the Spine Crawlers could have been brought to the fight too. Not that they would have made a monumental difference, but keep in mind, guys, whether it's small trades or not, Denver, his worker count's only just fallen to match Impact. If he could find a way to clean this up, he still might be in a better spot because he's got more bases, and he's starting to actually kill the Ravagers with the Roach buffer missing. Impact's retreating with a few units he has, and he's also, well, he's killed a lot of drones through this fight, though. Denver had to pull a lot to make this stay alive for him, I guess. Both players have really been knocked down a peg. The key difference is, I think Denver had more...
Oh, Impact lost his Roach Warren. I was like, why is he not... Oh, my God. Well, he has the Spire. The Spire could actually win the game.
7 mutas coming out. I was just going to touch on, like, Denver had more money to recover with than Impact did, but nobody has any money, period, right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about, too, and then I saw Impact's big bank. Using it for mutas is something, right? Like, it's better than whatever amount of lings he could have gotten, and it's better than waiting for his Roach Warren in case Denver just pushed once he realized he had won that army fight. The mutas, there's only 3 Hydras here. It's actually stopped them. 7 mutas will beat 3 Hydras.
Yeah, Hydra's actually not that reliable for anti-air. Having Hydras and Queens would be great. He brings them to the front line. What little he has, transfuses the Hydra, takes out one of the mutas. This is everything for Impact.
Yeah. Close to it. He is starting to rebuild his roaches now. Space is going to go down.
About time. It's been so low for so long. But at the same time, Denver's going to go for the attack. And if it comes down to an actual good old-fashioned base trade, this army kills bases faster than this army.
I'm so surprised Impact has a bit of the gold base left. In fact, more than a bit. Like 1,500 minerals still left on that. Maybe he was seconds away from having a good enough army, but especially with that upgrade disadvantage, it looks like he's going to lose out.
He just keep coming for the backside, though. There's really not a lot of anti-air left. They got caught with the queens in the middle because they're just A moving in, so forget it. There's not even that many mutants left. 2 remain.
Oh, Denver. GG.
Whoa. Look, there's not a lot of times where I'm like, ZvZ is awesome. But this time, ZvZ was awesome. Denver taking the first game in this best of 5 is a good start for him. Also, we did miss some other subs. I'm sorry. I only called out Stacy's because Stacy is a real-life good friend of mine, dude. And she's got this horrible clip of me being gross on her stream that she put into her stupid intro. Big love to Stacy. But, of course, Seventh House. I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry, but thank you for the Prime sub. We got Dude in the Basement. Chess Doctors came back for 2 months, like the start of a new age. And hopefully we didn't miss anybody else. I know there's some gifting going on through that little messy muck-a-muck too. Also up to 200 new followers for the stream. Guys, let's keep this rolling. We got still one more best of 5 left after this. So we're getting closer to the end of the stream, but not there just yet. And of course, Denver leading the way here in the winners match. I've got a little bit of the Denver fever right now, Zombie Grub. This guy is... Every time we cast him, even when he loses, I'm left impressed. But today he's winning, and I'm left impressed.
Yeah. That one all in was a little wonky against Hurricane, but otherwise looking very strong in these macro games.
Well, intro coming. See you guys soon. Oh my god. Are you on Twitter right now?
No.
I'm about to retweet the best looking cosplay I've ever seen for Soldier 76. It's like a Sailor Scout outfit done in a... This is so good.
I really like that.
I do too. I favorited and retweeted it. All right, folks, we're in game number 2 of this best of 5. You're watching the TING Open here on BaseTradeTV. TING, a U.S. mobile phone service. Check out their services. See if they're for you. Go to bttv.ting.com to learn more and claim $25 in credit. Also, reminder that if you buy the SIM card through the Match Arena link, that will also count towards our goal of selling people and getting folks on Ting. SIM cards there are like $5. When you buy them through the Match Arena link, they will go, that money will go to the prize pool. So be sure to check out the Match Arena page or go to bttv.ting.com. Either are totally appropriate. But spawning here in the top left side of the map, we got the red Zerg player, Denver, up 1-0.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it is Impact.
Also, man, we got a lot of sub gifting going on today. This might actually be the biggest stream of sub gifting so far since it's gone live, and I'm stoked to see people being hella generous with that. But reminder, guys, get in there on that Discord. A, we are now partnered with Discord, so that's cool. Secondly, we set up the sub gifting room specifically so we can gift you guys subs. It might not happen today, it might not happen tomorrow, but it could happen next week or the day after. So make sure to go write a message. Maybe you just want a free sub because you're cheap. That's totally cool. Or maybe you literally can't afford it. Either way, putting your, I guess, name in the hat is your best chance to get one.
Some pretty similar openers here. Both getting speed on the same time. And Ascension and I are probably, I mean, last game, actually, this kind of mimicked the first series that Impact played, where the first game was all roaches, second game, all about the Ling Baneling.
I was finally shutting my window there, sorry.
Yeah, I was trying to remember who Denver did play, and that was Xanster. Yeah, those types of games, Battle of the Boardwalk being a bit of an interesting map, so a lot to get used to.
Denver didn't play Xanster.
Right, Impact did.
Okay, sorry, you said Denver played Xanster, so I was confused.
I thought I said he played Xanster. Well, anyways, to be more specific, Impact played Xanster. And then I went on to like, actually, it's interesting that Battle of the Boardwalk. Now I feel like I've lost some momentum. Never mind.
Do we like forgetting your thoughts last game and this now? Like, I want to just like give you like a cold compress or something. I don't know, man.
Well, I knew where I was going. I just could have thought that that I said he, and now I'm just like, it's not important.
That just game just now.
In both best of fives.
So yeah, actually I agree with that, but man, I'm still fawning over that last game. That game is actually not so much about the ZvZ or the fact that it's these two players, but that made me actually really like the map. That map created a lot of very different opportunities and obstacles to create what was a very interesting ZvZ just now.
Right, but it's not going to happen too often that you go to Roach without any speed involved whatsoever. And it's such an honor being one of the most data maps that we have, again in the map pool. It's not too surprising to see that Denver, you know, goes for, though actually they both went for speed, Impact just canceled it. Denver goes for speed links, third base, and Impact goes for the wall off into Roach speed.
I like the cancel too, so he doesn't want to overcommit to this, but he also doesn't want to leave vulnerability in the opening. But despite the fact that there are accusations of view bots in chat, we are of course on the front page of Twitch, so again, hi and howdy to all those tuning in for the first time ever. If you're unaware of what's been going on with StarCraft 2, as of this week, StarCraft 2 is not only free to play, but it's had a massive balance overhaul. The game is different in a lot of very different ways. We're not seeing it so much again in the early game of ZvZ, because most of the Zerg changes came towards like Lair and Hive tech, but if you got questions, guys, come join us in chat. I can't guarantee we're always going to answer them, but we'll do our best to try and keep you guided on the straight path as far as what's going on with StarCraft 2.
Impact's going to have +1 and speed, taking a much slower third base, but if the attack works, then it's totally worth it. Denver is pretty close behind. I mean, he obviously recognized what build Impact was doing and realized the necessity of his own roaches.
So there's our first fair question. Why is he killing his own Evo chamber? He had walled off to keep the Zerglings from running into his base while he was waiting to get army units out. So he had to let it complete, whether it was on purpose or accident. Either way, has to kill it to break out of his own base. So there you have it.
+2 is immediately started as well at the third base.
I'm worried about this, though. Denver doesn't have the army supply for this initially. And while there is strength in Defender's advantage, that Spinecrawler is very far out. The reinforcing roaches aren't going to be here necessarily right away because they got to come down for the main and the natural. This should start out well for Impact, but we'll see if Denver can bridge that gap. His roach count's caught up, but keep in mind, not all of his roaches are fighting. A lot of them are transitioning to the base.
I think it's enough. The +1 initial impact was pretty good, but Denver's advantage is just too strong as everything actually hit at really nice timings for Denver. His +1 was not that much delayed, and he even had a spine crawler to fall back to in case he did start to feel really pressured. So Impact is forced away. Now he has a much slower third base. It only just out finishes, so that income, I guess when he transfers the drone, should be fine, but for a while there, it wasn't great.
Yeah, actually, the income graph, it's funny just how literally you can tell when each person's drones were hatching just because of how up and down, up and down, up and down, and then finally, yeah, third base versus no third base. This is a similar situation to last game, I feel, but in reverse, where, of course, it was Denver who had the economy all game and Impact with the army, and now it's Denver with the army and Impact with the economy, but it's not as, I guess, different as it was last game in terms of, like, 40 versus 30. This time around, the roaches come in and get a couple of snipes right away, but he's going to have to quickly realize this might not be worth it. Sniping off queens and getting high-priority targets like the Ravagers isn't going to be bad for Denver, but trading out evenly is not likely to happen.
Yeah, I don't really know if that was worth that many roaches, but there were some good target firing. Certainly important units to get rid of. Denver, though, falling behind on the upgrades, very similar to last game, even more behind than last game, as Impact is still contaminating his +2. No start on the +1.
I love the drone that was pulled with this. That got picked off there pretty quick. Oopsie poops. Yeah, contaminates are a real problem. There's nothing you can really do about it, Zerg. There's no chrono boost to make up for it. You can't transfer the upgrade to another Evo chamber. You're just kind of stuck taking that loss.
Yeah. Eventually, the Overseer runs out of energy, and that's finally when you get some room to breathe, but the contaminant abuse pops up like once every 2 years, it feels like, because it actually hasn't been changed since Wings of Liberty, I think.
I think it's just in general you don't see that many overseers, but my thoughts are with burrow roaches and all these other things being more popular than ever, it makes sense to have the extra overseers, so might as well use it while you got it, right? Throw down those contaminates. Of
course, it makes a lot of sense, but that still doesn't mean people are remembering to use it. Impact It's kind of even like the supply depots around the map. Some people use it occasionally. It just pops up every now and again. Then Impact has this huge upgrade lead and a bit of an army supply lead too. Well, even more now.
2-1 versus 1-0, but here's where those upgrades might not matter, and that comes down mostly to corrosive biles. You land the right hits, those are armor piercing because they're spells. Spinecart is going to help with this too, and while this goes on, a small counterattack picks off some drones. This is really nice for Denver, because Impact's actually falling back fully and entirely, but Denver also held the attack, which was probably more important.
He's still going to be so far behind in upgrades. Even though his +2 looks like it's going to be able to finish, even though it needs like another 40 seconds. That +1 Carapace is going to take a long time to catch up to. But he was at an upgrade disadvantage. He was at an army supply disadvantage almost all of last game, and still managed to barely eke it out with the stronger economy and the stronger bank.
So, by the way, we've got our current bit boss now knocked down to less than half health thanks to brave warriors such as O'Kells, but Black Spade Kamui coming in with 2 different instances, 500 bits in total. Nice shirt riff, stab, stab, stab. Thank you very much, dude. But Roaches coming on the bottom side. Denver's sneak attacks have been kind of effective. They're working here on the top side too. Impact is actually drawn back home fully and entirely. And Impact is up like 40 army supply. This is a little bit to the detriment of the fact that Denver is dedicating a lot to these little harass attacks, so he is losing out on army doing so. But at the same time, this is keeping Impact from going for that death blow. Denver could not possibly take a fight right now back at home. But with all the Roaches chasing him to the north, all the Roaches staying at home, Impact's not pushing. This gives Denver time to bridge that gap in supply.
Very similar to last game. Impact losing out on some potential kill moments. He does add on a Hydralisk Den, whereas Denver commits entirely to the harassment with Tunneling Claws. And finally, Impact is enough and goes for it, but you know, was initially a 40 army supply lead is down to 10. You still have to worry about positioning, getting up the ramp, which he does manage to do.
A lot of this is like whose corrosive biles actually land. Right now, in the previous game, Denver was eating a lot more corrosive biles, and Impact wasn't taking as many. But this time around, they're doing a great job dodging one another, constantly just going in and out, in and out. The problem is, though, Denver's giving up some ground, which means Impact might be able to push back to the hatchery. And when Denver falls back, Impact, instead of wasting shots, can just shoot a hatchery instead. So it gets a little bit scary for Denver. Army supplies are holding somewhat even for the time being. Impact's got like 16 Roaches coming out back at home, though. This is where Defender's advantage is going to shine through. And he walks back, and he eats a lot of corrosive biles to that front line of Roaches.
Yeah, they were already pretty weak. I noticed that, too.
That dance,
Impact
though.
Is trying to, that was a dance. So it was actually just back and forth, back and forth. But Denver manages to even up the army supply. He's like 10, 20 seconds away from +1 Carapace. He's holding on. But, you know, it is Impact improving his army by getting Hydralisk here. Denver can only do so much with Tunneling Claws when it comes to actual big engagements.
Yeah, and that was actually showcased in the last game, I think, really heavily, where I had mentioned the sustained DPS will sometimes matter more than the burst DPS. Like, the corrosive biles are great if they land, but it's not a guaranteed shot, so it's not guaranteed damage. Hydras are guaranteed damage. Ooh, even just picking up a Hydra like this with the Broad Roaches is kind of nice. Hoping to distract and draw Impact away once again, but Impact's going for 2-pronged attacks. He knows that he can't fight Denver necessarily all entirely at once, so he'll split them up, and the main base is going to die.
Denver had eyes on it, so he does try and split appropriately, but it's always so difficult to split absolutely perfectly. Now their upgrades are even, but he's going up a ramp and not paying attention. He's dancing 2 places at once. Really favorable for Impact.
Yeah, a lot of control required out of both players, but unfortunately Denver's showing a little bit less of it. He does unburrow Roaches on the other side of the map, and he's going to cause some chaos for Impact, so this won't all be for free, but Impact is looking to do some seriously game-ending damage here.
Denver's not doing a terrible job trying to defend, but he is losing every so often. 10 supply, 5 supply there. It's really starting to add up. He has a Spine Crawler that is helping just the tiniest little bit, but enough. Like, a couple of Spine Crawlers had a lot of shots.
Yeah, he had 2 of them. The one died, but you know what? He actually stabilizes with a decent amount of drones surviving. And this is in comparison to Impact, because Impact did lose some drones on the other side of the map. Granted, not a lot, but still enough to keep him in check, I guess.
Denver with some really great ZvZ. Keeps on holding on despite early disadvantages.
Yo, I didn't even realize through all of these attacks, Denver's only lost 2 drones. I guess this has really been a lot more about the Roaches, and you just kind of forget that when you get like Impact segmented like 40 or 50 army supply northwards to the main. It didn't snipe the base. It didn't kill the drones. I'm actually astonished at how little damage that did.
And the true hero of that, and I'm going to assume the game, Denver's starting to get little leads here that are really starting to pile up in his favor now, bank-wise, economy-wise. So if that's true,
he catches the Ravagers.
So tasty. Oh, this is so good.
This is so
all gonna
expensive.
Go down. Yeah. Impact's gonna try and save as many as he can, but he can't really take an engagement. But anyways, that Overlord in the position that's still alive, that is the true hero. It saw the split of the army, allowing Denver to respond in time. Otherwise, that lair and all those drones would be dead.
What position? Sorry, you cut out.
That Overlord you just ran over now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Roach is making it to the back line once again. In fairness, by the way, it's the first team we cut out all stream, so I'm not too worried about Discord yet, but keep an eye on that. Hydra's coming out for Denver back at home. He's been doing so much with just roaches, and impressively so. The fact that he can even afford to take 8 to 12 roaches out of his army supply and use them for harass tactics and get away with it is impressive, to say the least. Because this, in other situations, would have been him dying at home to the overwhelming roach numbers attacking him. But Impact has not been able to get that kill move. Impact has been struggling to actually dance through the middle of the map and decide, does he want to go home or does he want to go to the other side of the field?
Denver surviving with such a limited army supply for most of this game really is impressive. It's always been down army supply and then a little bit more because of these attacks, which, yeah, definitely could have killed him in a different game.
Is he gonna get base? He's gonna get the base. He's gonna get the base. Oh, that's so sick. I am on the Denver hype train so bad right now, but Impact still has a really formidable army to fight with.
Oh no. Denver had that Overlord there, but then dragged it with his army. It would have died to the Hydras, but at least seen this coming. A little bit late to respond, but his army's here.
This still might work out, though, because some of Impact's got to come through that choke. No, I take this back, because Impact's going to have the concave, but he's wasting shots on the Bailey Nest, for example, not fighting the army. He's missing like 13 roaches from the actual fight. The Hydras come in a little bit late. Denver's letting some corrosive biles, but it's, I don't know. Denver's holding supply for now, but this could change in an instant. His
Ravagers got into the middle and were a little set just dying, basically. A lot more roaches left over for Impact.
32 on the way,
though. Exactly, the supply is still down as Denver had a huge bank. Is trying to use it now. I think that's enough. This is like, oh my god, it's so similar to last game.
Defender's advantage is a hell of a thing. All the roaches come out. Now he's got a concave. He surrounds and pounces, and Impact's going to realize he's losing out on so much army supply. To retreat out of this base is impossible, and Denver is going to clean up.
And win the game from this. Still got a few more drones than Impact and a 4th base. That's the most important thing.
That's the key thing. Well, not just this. Take a look at the income graph, right? For the last 10 minutes, this has been Denver's income game. The fact that he's finally overcome the army problem and maintains a superior economy. He would have to make some very bad moves to lose this game.
He's also hitting with +2. GG.
Yo, my boy Denver looking to make 2 Koreans duke it out in the finals at this rate. But do keep in mind, folks, he has to win one more to lock this down. It's the winner's bracket for those who have just tuned in, because I know we keep having a lot of people come and go through the front page. But for those who have come and stayed, here's a quick look at the brackets. Denver and Zanster were the foreigners, the non-Koreans of the group. Hurricane and Impact are the Koreans. They're the ones you expect to win all the StarCraft 2 games. But Denver's actually winning 2-0 right now. This is awesome. Also, big thank you to Stone Spider for the 40-month resub just now. Woo! But whether you guys are on the front page or whether you're dedicated fans, thank you for tuning in this morning. We're going to go to a 2-minute commercial break. When we come back, it'll be Game 3, and it could be the deciding match. We'll see you guys soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's game number 3. And sitting in the top left on match point, his last life, it's the Red Zerg, Impact.
In the bottom right as the Blue Zerg, he's Denver.
Denver putting on a good performance today. See if you can lock this down. Some questions in chat. They were like, how could it possibly be Koreans in the finals? Because if you guys are unfamiliar with this group style of play, there are only 5 best of 5s that play. There is not a 6th quote-unquote finals as some people tend to expect, because we only need the top 2 players, not the top 1. The top 2 players will advance out of the group and move on to the round of 8. Where there are many other players still waiting, and time permitting, we may get to do the group draw live on stream today, which is always the best part, where we totally always mess it up and someone gets mad about it, but we still go with what we drew anyways.
Really? Someone got mad last time?
Someone always complains, dude. It's not fair. You put the foreigner versus foreigner. It's supposed to be foreigners.
I mean,
blah, blah, blah. Like,
usually someone complains about anything, but I thought someone actually important.
no. It's always whining, but that's okay. I love doing the draw. It's the one part I really look forward to, and it can't be any worse than the WCS one. So standards are low.
That wasn't that bad. Just awkward ball fumbling for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was actually I talked with Adrian about that actually specifically at BlizzCon. He was just kind of laughing it off, so I'm glad to know that he wasn't too upset by the awkwardness of it. But hey, we got some subs coming in, so while Overlords float and buildings get made, big thank you to Graysoul for the 2-month resub. Pheasanator comes back with Twitch Prime, and so does Jar Dozer to join us brand new on the channel. Welcome to the Base Trade Brigade. Thank you guys for joining in, and of course that generic reminder that all the new subscribers who aren't used to it, by the end of the stream, we're going to be sending out replay packs from today's matches. So if you're a Zerg player out there, seriously, these might be games to go over.
Yeah, there's some pretty solid builds. Again, builds have not changed that much for ZvZ or really Zerg in general. Just some of their, the units they could get, sometimes would get, are a little bit different.
So this is interesting in chat, actually, what's just happened here. Nathanius responded to you by saying ball fondling, ? Perhaps as a response to everyone else saying ball fumbling, but I know Nate notoriously watches our stream muted. So I don't know if Nate's actually watching or just reading.
Oh, he's probably just reading.
We need like a code word. Like,
just say Nate's a terrible person.
Everyone should just write Nate is a terrible person in chat. You're right. And we'll see if he understands why. Otherwise, he's just going to see a million people writing Nate's a terrible person and go, WTF.
Oh, he doesn't have it muted. Oh, no.
Shit,
abort. Oh, no.
No, shout out to Nathaniel. It's always good to have him hanging out in chat. Just giving him a bit of a tease. Layer starts up, but I actually don't know. Did he catch that? Okay, he did actually see the layer, so I take that back. It didn't just start up. It's almost finished. I'm ridiculous. But either way, the important keynote is that Denver did confirm it, so he knows that there's the danger of layer tech.
Yeah. So Impact went for that 2-base Roach Warren +1. He did do that last game out as well. Denver went for the complete opposite, 3rd base grabbing that, but a huge Ling swell, low drone count, and Impact has to keep this wall alive. Luckily, it was already started, so it's like a little bit healthier than it could have been, but...
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's going for the wall that's actually researching instead of the ones that are obviously lower. I mean, this could also be transfused. I'm just surprised to see him go for the focus on this instead of, say, the Roach Warren.
No, exactly. The transfused. I'm surprised it did not go down, but it didn't really need it either.
He's going to bust it open. Use some banelings to pry it by force. He's got to hit between the two, though. He wants to hit the Evo Chamber as well. Or maybe he's just even after the Zerglings. I really don't know what he's planning to do here.
Yeah, he might just be saving it for the Zerglings and the Broodlings, but yeah, Transfuse come down. It's the only Transfuses he has.
He's bleeding out so many Zerglings, though. I don't know. This is tough to say. He's going to break open that Roach Warren, and more walls are going to come down behind it. Bailey's push in. No chance for the Evo Chambers. Now he's going to use his Baileys to zone out Impacts, who, by the way, doesn't have speed to maneuver around them, so the Baileys get all the connects in the world, but there's not enough Zerglings following through.
He definitely needs more, but he stops the Evolution from going down. The Queen's just still alive. Only a couple of Roaches, but the Roach Warren has died. Impact isn't making anything to help here.
He just... Oh, this is so sketch. If he can get a wall down, he secures this, but he can't get the wall down. Lings run past everything and start darting up towards the main.
Yeah. If he had 10 more Lings at some pretty crucial moments, that might have snowballed to his victory.
Yeah. That was like 5 Lings short of being game over, frankly. Even these ones in the main, if they had been able to sneak into Banelings, that could be some good hits, but Impact's on top of it.
He lost... I mean, I want to say they lost the game, but it's not quite that clear yet. Denver does have a 3rd base. He droned as soon as he realized that it wasn't going to win him the game.
You know what? With all these extra Evo... Because he put down like 5 extra Evo Chambers, Impact might actually have a money lead from his early economy.
Probably doesn't. Oh, it's starting to really
deny +1. Oh no, go back!
Go back!
Oh my god, no!
Are you kidding?
Denver!
Even if they got transfused, I think it'd be worth stopping +1. In fact, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's why he attacked the Evolution Chamber in the first place, was to deny +1. So why not deny this one?
That was a big mistake. That just gave Impact so much extra power. On top of his Queens, on top of his Roaches. I don't know what's going on with Denver, because Denver's had a pretty flawless, not flawless, but a pretty good series so far. That was the first big mistake we've witnessed.
He did the same thing kind of versus Hurricane, though, didn't he? Where the third game, he was up 2-0. He thought he had momentum, all in, and it didn't work.
Only some people in the audience are going to remember this. I know you weren't here for it, but I was casting an AI versus AI tournament, and what kept happening was the AI would be winning at 3 minutes, and then just literally stop and walk away for no reason. And I feel like that's what we just witnessed.
Denver was replaced by an AI, but okay, so he doesn't get the +1. That's really bad, because he absolutely should have gotten it. But Denver might just be able to hold on. He is up in drones. He has that third base, and he's barely getting enough roaches.
He darts past the queens to go for the drone kills. If he got more, this would be good. But as well, oh no, wait, impact. What are you? You know they're here. Okay, he's focusing over here. That's why Roach is on the attack for the counter. But Denver, I think this is gonna be tough. Actually, defender's advantage is good, but I don't know if it's this good.
Right. You know, do you think that Impact has like 5 roaches on the start of the map? But oh whoa. Well, you know, Impact got some of his roaches chasing Denver's, maybe too many.
Yeah,
Denver really just needs a small little blip in the attack to actually defend here, and that might have been it.
A couple drones getting pulled too to help snipe off these roaches. Manageable for sure, because they're both on similar drone counts, but this whole time Denver's been up an entire base over Impact, so even bleeding out 2 drones doesn't really mean much in comparison. Impact's 1-1 though.
Yeah,
it should be like 1-0, frankly.
It should be. He's about to be at 2-1. Definitely, there should be a lead for Impact, but it shouldn't be this substantial. Now, Denver, the other 2 games was a lot about him recovering from an upgrade deficit. So can he do it again is the question, and it seems like he just might. Impact doesn't want to commit to the fight, despite scouting his like severe upgrade advantage, and Denver might just be able to buy time, get the Tumbling Claws, buy more time. That was the last 2 games.
By the way, I wrote in chat, but if anybody got a good clip of Denver and our reactions to Denver walking away from the upgrade snipe, please link it in chat. I want to I'll take a look at that later.
It started. A couple roaches getting more than a couple drones. Impact feeling a bit compelled to finally push in here. But while he has an upgrade lead, I think his army supply is just lower on the front lines.
I'm surprised he didn't focus fire down the Ravagers. Denver's just doing some A-move stuff. Now he's starting to get a couple of snipes, but this was a good pushback on top of the 9 drone kills. And for somebody who had an upgrade lead, Impact probably was not expecting that fight to go that way.
Yeah, but he had so many roaches that were reinforcing that weren't anywhere close. That was a big problem. Perhaps a little bit of panic from the drones. Maybe, as I said, keep reiterating, that was the last 2 games. Impact having a lead, having control of the game, and then losing it. And I wonder if that was like a flashback for him. He's like, oh no, not the 3 roaches again. Oh god, no.
And Denver was doing a lot of good things too, like constantly Impact, like even here in this game, chasing a couple of roaches with too many of his own. And that was I think the army basically described in the last game. Battle of the Boardwalk was constantly Impact being like, where do I go? He's got 4 roaches here, 5 roaches there. Where do I respond to? I guess I'm not attacking anymore, etc., etc. But yeah, I'm gonna assume that's Hard Revenge. I don't know. I just assume any Korean characters in chat are Hard Revenge. Shout out to the gift sub he is granted to Accelerando.
Cool. What a interesting ZvZ series. Denver now has the army supply advantage. He's not anywhere close to bridging the gap of upgrades, but he is controlling the map here. Impact still not even really saturating his 3rd base.
Why is Hard Revenge saying he's not the same? That seems who?
I don't know who to talk about.
Nor do I. Burrow's completed though, so a little bit of tools here. For those who don't know as well, for roaches, they burrow and they heal extremely fast. This was actually something I wanted to give Denver compliments on in the previous game, but the action was going on too fast. It wasn't worth mentioning. But he was doing a lot of burrow to heal micro, kind of like what we're seeing actually now as he whack-a-moles his way in here. And this was, I think, a big part of why a lot of his army was more sustained than Impact's, because I know he's not getting that overload. Impact wouldn't burrow his damaged roaches, whereas Denver was constantly finding like any odd second to do so. And seriously, like 3 seconds of being burrowed could be a roach going from like 20 health to 60 health.
What wins? 6 Ravagers, 1 floaty boy.
One floaty boy. Well, I don't know why that's such a popular meme right now, but I love it. That's like actually my favorite meme we keep seeing pop up on the StarCraft Reddit.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. I enjoy that one immensely.
These roaches are not going to get in here and pick off drones, unfortunately. Going back to the income graph for a moment, though, Denver had for a time been winning this pretty severely, but looks like Impact started to take some of that money game as he's up a few drones over Denver. But we're at that point where players are maxed out, and your drone count is only going to count down towards your remax. And I think Denver having 148 army supply is not too shabby. He's missing armor, but he's only missing one armor. So this isn't a huge devastating upgrade difference. A couple of corrosive bios could honestly make up that difference, depending on what hits and what doesn't hit.
Yeah. All right, he finally starts that +1 carapace. If he wants to continue his economic or his base lead, I suppose, that he's had most of this game, a 4th base should be coming down soon. In fact, Impact's looking for it, kind of, with a couple of burrowed roaches. Or, well, not burrowed, I suppose, just running roaches. So while this attack happens, they both will be losing drones. Oh.
Okay, so that's not the burrow that I was impressed with, but a burrow nonetheless to heal up a little bit, I guess.
Maybe the wrong hotkey, or maybe he didn't realize an Overseer was right there. As I said, both of them are losing drones, so there was some distraction for both parties. Denver dealing more economic damage for sure.
Exactly, and he's even got some roaches still in the main. They hasn't taken advantage of just yet. But Impact's army supply is still pretty great. Spine Crawler is going to go down. Didn't actually think that would happen, but there you go. Roaches also chase off the drones in the main. There's not a lot of bases to retreat to, though, so Impact's not only just losing out on drones, he's losing out what little but very precious mining from these like couple of mineral patches, which he desperately needs.
Because an engagement hasn't happened, he does have a bank. Denver is matching and getting ahead of him in that regard, though.
This is where it gets really troublesome, though, because it's going to be defender's advantage here for Denver on top of a somewhat similar army supply into, of course, no economy versus economy. I really think that if Denver's defending and deflecting, Denver can win this game. But if he goes for the attack, that might be where it gets dangerous. But he doesn't need to go for attacks when he goes for subtle attacks, and I love he does this. He segments roaches out. He's the only guy who's getting away with this every time.
Well, it is impressive because, okay, so this game, Denver has had the army supply lead for most of it, only just recently going in Impact's favor. But those other games, it was extra impressive because he was down 20 army supply plus 6 roaches. That's a bold move to make, and he's made it correctly every single time.
There's floaty boys and there's burrowy boys, I guess. The guys get to that mineral line. A few drones left are going to get picked off. He actually draws the army out of position. This may allow Denver to push up the ramp that he couldn't push up before. Now there's not going to be that choke, that concave that is to fear. In fact, he might actually be able to take a fight. But remember, guys, defender's advantage is just as good as Impact as it would have been for Denver. But Impact eats so many corrosive biles to the heart of his roach army.
That was a lot of corrosive biles to take, and now he realizes that he might have made a mistake. The concave of Denver's winning out here, and Denver is going to be 0 Impact.
GG!
GG.
Yo, I am hashtag Team Denver so hard right now. I've been talking this guy up ever since we saw him, and like I am just loving it. He's going to be the first player out of the group in first place. The foreigner knocking out one of the 2 Koreans. And now we're actually going to have to go back to Korea because it's a Korea versus Korea finals. This is so sick. So it's Hurricane versus Impact. Only one can advance through. Whew. I don't know what you Zombie. I'm pretty feel a bit warm right now. Also, it would appear that we are off the front page finally, so it's cool to see 5,500 of you sticking around. If anyone is going to leave, have a great day. But we got one last best of 5 coming up. In fact, let me do the brackets up here live in front of your eyes, because it's Denver again going through to the finals and Impact falling through to the losers match, or the finals match. All right, sorry, Denver's going through to the round of 8 is what I meant. This is really cool for Denver too, because as we mentioned before, you guys can actually see the prize pool on the Match Arena page. Denver just went from what is possibly at most $50 for 16th place in the tournament, all the way up to now $200 for the top 8. And that doubles again later too as you get further and further in. There's a 3rd place, a 4th place match, and first place is almost $1,500. Big thank you to Ting, Match Reno, all these guys comboing to make this happen. You guys, the fans, hopefully you're using those codes on the site too, Ting Open, to add $1 to the prize pool. But we got to swap servers, we got to do vetoes, And we got to go to a word from our sponsors. So real quick, guys, consider subscribing to the channel, all this good stuff. But I hope you'll stick around through the ads, because when we get back, it'll be the group finals, PVZ, Hurricane versus Impact. Till then, a word from Ting. See you guys in a bit.